What if there was an unseen architecture to our lives? A single physical trait that, without a sound, was directing the flow of wealth and opportunity. It has nothing to do with skill or intellect or how hard a person works. It's an advantage etched into their very form. A characteristic that, in the quiet background of our world, is subtly tilting the scales of success. There is a body of research that suggests for every inch of this trait, a person might earn nearly $800 more every single year. The trait is height, and it appears the world may be quietly, perhaps even subconsciously, designed to reward the tall. This isn't just a strange observation, it's a measurable economic pattern called the height premium, and it might just be one of the most powerful yet invisible forces shaping our careers and the stories our bank accounts tell. The numbers here tell a quiet story. A landmark study from the University of Florida, among others, attempted to put a price on our vertical space. Their findings suggested that each inch of height above average corresponds to roughly $789 in additional earnings per year. Now, that might feel small, but let's watch it unfold. Imagine two people. They have the same skills, the same experience, the same spirit. One stands at 5 feet 5 and the other 6 feet tall. That 7-inch difference suggests the taller person is on a path to earn over $5,500 more in that single year. Now, let's imagine that difference compounded over a 30-year journey. The taller individual could, on average, accumulate nearly $166,000 more than their shorter colleague. This is no longer a rounding error. It's the kind of difference that can silently rewrite a life, and this isn't a singular discovery. A 2024 study reaffirmed this deep correlation between height and income, even when accounting for things like gender, age, and background. Other analyses land on a similar pattern. An earnings increase somewhere between 1.4% and 2.9% for each additional inch. But you have to ask, where does this really manifest? The effect seems most potent in roles that are built on social connection, sales, management, positions where you face the client. It seems that in jobs where perception itself is a form of performance, being tall offers a tangible, monetary advantage. We feel drawn to the tall salesperson. We see the tall manager as more of a leader. We instinctively look up. The bias has been documented for decades, and it's measurable. The world, it seems, has a quiet financial preference for those who can reach the top shelf. So what is the mechanism behind this? The answer seems to be psychological, an echo from our evolutionary past. From that ancestral perspective, height was a signal. It was a proxy for health, for strength, for being a formidable ally or a dangerous foe. In a world where conflict was physical, the taller leader had a clear advantage. Our ancestors who chose to follow physically imposing figures were simply more likely to endure. And that primal instinct, that deep association of height with power, still echoes in the quiet corners of our modern minds. This isn't just a theory. The research reflects it. Studies show we subconsciously perceive taller people as more competent, more authoritative, more like leaders. In one study at Texas Tech University, students were asked to draw an ideal national leader next to a typical citizen. Almost 2/3 of them drew the leader as taller. And this isn't just one culture's story, it was a pattern seen across the world. It's a deeply human bias. You can see its shadow in the highest offices of power. In the United States, the taller presidential candidate has won the popular vote in the majority of elections. In the world of business, the pattern is even more defined. A staggering 90% of Fortune 500 CEOs are of above average height. One analysis discovered they were nearly 10 times more likely to be 6'2" or taller compared to the average man. And the bias seems to begin its work so early. Research indicates that as early as age 3, taller children show a tendency to perform better on cognitive tests. This might be because of what researchers call an early environment explanation. The idea is that children who grow up in healthier, more nurturing environments tend to become taller and also smarter and more successful. Height here becomes a signal, a marker for beneficial circumstances that foster higher skills. It creates a feedback loop. taller people are seen as more confident, which in turn boosts their actual self-esteem. This leads others to treat them more like leaders, which gives them more opportunities to lead. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy written in dollars and cents. But before we believe being tall is a golden ticket, we have to flip the coin. This physical structure carries with it a hidden cost of maintenance, a kind of height tax that slowly chips away at the premium. It begins in the home. Standard doorways, countertops, and shower heads become small, daily hazards, contributing to back and neck pain. To raise a single doorway can cost around $1,000. To upgrade to taller countertops might cost $3,000. And that's before you even consider custom-ordered furniture. Then there's clothing. Finding clothes that fit properly often means turning to specialty and more expensive brands, or paying for custom alterations. Off the rack is rarely a simple option. And travel, a standard economy seat on an airplane, is a structural failure for someone over 6 feet 3, often forcing them to pay for premium classes just for the humane amount of legroom. A larger car is often a necessity, not an indulgence. Even our own biology begins to work against this. A higher basal metabolic rate means taller bodies require more food simply to function, which translates to higher grocery bills over a lifetime. And a 2024 study pointed out that while income does rise with height, there is a point where the returns diminish. The analysis found that peak income seemed to be associated with a height of around 6 feet 2 inches for men. Past that point, the financial advantages can level off, while the height tax just continues to grow. This hidden tax can quietly transform a perceived gift into a very real financial and physical burden. I'm curious where this finds you. In your life, have you felt the subtle lift of the height premium, or have you been paying the quiet toll of the height tax? I'd be interested to read your story in the comments, and if this breakdown is offering you some value, a simple tap of the like button is a huge help to the channel. After swimming in all of this data, it's important to see this for what it truly is, a correlation, not a destiny. Height doesn't create a better leader. It just creates a subconscious shortcut in our perception, a bias in their favor. To understand that bias is the first step in learning how to disarm it. If you're shorter, you may simply have to be more intentional about projecting the confidence and authority that the world doesn't automatically grant you. You cannot change your height, but you can change your posture, your body language, your vocal tone, how you choose to occupy a room. Confidence is a skill. It can be learned and it can be projected. And it is often what people are truly subconsciously responding to when they react to height. And we can't forget the countless shorter individuals who have completely redefined their fields. Mark Zuckerberg, Jeff Bezos, titans of our time who prove that vision and drive are infinitely more powerful than a few inches of bone. They didn't allow a statistical pattern to become their fate. They understood the game and they used intellect and charisma to win on their own terms. For taller individuals, the lesson is perhaps one of humility. It's the recognition that some of the deference you receive might be unearned. It's a quiet reminder to make sure your success is built on a foundation of true competence, not just the perception that your stature provides. The advantage is real, but to rely on it is a trap. True success is born from what you build with the advantages you're given. In the end, the height premium is a fascinating window into the hidden scripts that shape our world. It reveals a quiet crack in our story of meritocracy. It shows us that we are not the objective creatures we believe ourselves to be. We are swayed by primal shortcuts that equate physical size with human capability. The data is clear. On average, taller people are given a financial head start. But the most powerful lesson here isn't one of unfairness, it's one of empowerment. Knowing that a bias exists is the first step toward neutralizing its power over you. It's a call to focus on the things that truly matter. The patient development of skill, the building of genuine confidence, and the proof of your worth through your actions, not your appearance. Whether you look up at the world or down upon it, your success is ultimately defined not by the inches on a ruler, but by the strength of your ambition and the depth of your character. Thank you for watching. If this gave you something to think about, subscribe and ring the bell so you don't miss what we explore next. I'd love to read about your own experience with this in the comments. I read everyone. Until next time.